So welcome to the League of Empire cast of today. We have Russia F versus German Potatoes. So conveniently enough, we have Russia F in the tags here, so we'll know the difference within the teams easily. But I'll begin the cast anyway with introducing the team players. Let's begin with German Potatoes since we are at Turio's point of view here. I like to start with the pocket, so we'll be starting with B-Boy here as the Berbers. Very strong pocket stave actually. They have cheaper cavalry, 15% cheaper in the Castle Age, 20% cheaper in the Imperial Age. So absolutely a mobile sim to have in the pocket position here. Setback maybe being not having paladin access in the Imperial Age, but nevertheless from their castles, if they can get some castles up, they could make camel archers and then they'd still have a decent response to, or more than decent response to enemy cavalry with a mobile cav archer unit, which is called the camel archer. So that could be coming into play if the game goes late game here, because then the cheap cavaliers might just not cut it, even though you could spam them more easily given their cheaper cost. On the right side of poor German Potatoes here is Phoenix playing as the Ethiopians flank here. So not wasting the good flank saves here for sure against Russia F. Ethiopians faster finding archers, and then indirect eco bonus upon reaching each next age by being granted 100 food, 100 gold. That makes infantry openings like men-at-arms into archers a very solid option for Ethiopians, because they can essentially afford men-at-arms and almost one infantry unit for free due to that boost of economy in the next stage. And we have this improved villager pathing at work here. These women just dancing around, but fortunately Phoenix still didn't notice. There we go. So Archer Civ as expected on the flank side. The other flank for Tuyo here with the Vietnamese. I'd label Vietnamese and anti-Archer Archer Civ, honestly. And because they're Archer range units, they have 20% more hit points, isn't it? And which means that they, in one-on-one fights against enemy archers, they would be winning in equal numbers because they simply have more hit points working for them. So good choice on the flank as well, of course, and also a bit of an eco bonus in the well, throughout the ages actually, in that their economy upper hit doesn't cost wood. So when you're getting horse collar or double bit axe and feudal age, for example, you only pay food. Leaves you with much more wood to go into your archers masses. The Vietnamese unique unit as well, the Rattan Archer, could come into play if you get the castles up. That's also an anti-archer unit. Rather quick foot archer with extra pierce armor, basically a Huskarl with a bow and arrow from the Vietnamese castles. Now for Russia F here, let's see their civilization picks here. We have Magyar's pocket for the queen here. Some solid pocket as well. You get the melee attack upgrades instantly upon reaching the next stage, meaning that your whether you go for infantry or scouts or cavalry of some sort, they would get that attack upgrade instantly. Likely to go scouts from pocket, that's the most common approach to team games. And we see the queen here preparing to click up at 21 population here, it seems, and after Loom. So going to be 21 pop scouts from the queen here. On the right hand side we have Mr. Moan with the Vikings. Also a strong flank civ, because Vikings have fantastic economy in the fact that they don't need to research wheelbarrow and handcart. They get those instantly upon reaching the next stage. So looking at the map though, main gold close to TC, which is good, but the 2 forward goals will have to be walled out for Mr. Wong for now, so not an ideal starting point for securing the core resources. This would be an amazing TC or castle spot later on though to protect all these resources. And finally, Oladeshek with the Huns flank. The Huns work just as well both on flank and pocket because they have some mobility. They do lack Arbalest though, but they have cheaper cavalry archers, something that could be coming in handy for the late game. Tuyo on point with the scout here sees that the barracks is up for Ladeshek with the flag on it. Will be suspecting a Will maybe not be expecting a man-at-arms play from the Huns actually, but that's what Oladeshek is going for here. He's well on the way to the feudal age. Will be popping out what is at least 2, maybe 3. Yeah, 3 militia here. Angry housewives moving forward to try and hit Tuyo here with pretty awesome base, honestly. 2 back golds, back stone. Easy wall off between the wood lines, only the front side, of course, much more open. I actually find it a bit peculiar that Tuyo chooses to go for the forward gold burst here with 2 so safe golds in the back, just wood, wall, and your enemies have a hard time reaching you. That's probably a reason for it though. We have a few legions kicking in for the queen in the pocket position. Should be right around the corner for B-Boy as well, actually. Opting for a 23 pop here with the Berbers. Could be a little setup in the build order there, maybe struggling for some resources, but in exchange it's going to grant Berbers an even stronger economy going into the village. Men-at-Arms from Hunstone, something you don't really necessarily expect, because Huns, they lack 100 food to start a game, so it's going to take you a while to actually drop, a while longer to actually be able to drop the barracks. So already a successful forward from Oladeshek here, taking Tuyo off the berries. Tuyo opting for the straight archers though, which is a good response to both drushes and men-at-arms. You'll be getting the archers out and can clean up this without having to worry much more about it. A mill might go down though, and that's 100 wood that Tuyo might need to reinvest. Looks like Oladeshek might want to consider going for the hitting the pocket as well, actually. It did destroy the middle of Tuyo, so that's some serious damage already. Now goes for some further annoyment here and builders forward. Is this going to be a tower from Oladeshek here? Let's see his point of view. Huns, men-at-arms and towers. By all means it's viable. But we will be having scouts from the enemy here, so just a few builders forwards, not necessarily going to cut it here. And B-Boy, of course, sending a scout, seeing the villagers, knows that the tower is going up. It's also a peculiar choice. Given Oladeshek scouting, there is a back stone, there are 2 back golds. You're just not going to succeed in taking Tuyo of the important resources here, but on the other hand, you're buying all the time in the world for the Magyar's pocket to boom away and get to some Castle Age action here, so might be worthwhile after all. Man-at-arms, archers, and towers here, or at least 1 tower from Oladeshek. I don't think he's investing into more. He just wants to keep Tuyo off the front gold here, and also that facilitates breaking through the wall here, so maybe the tower is worthwhile after all. Seems like a huge commitment to go for with 2 villagers just for 1 tower though. Villagers that could be bringing in resources otherwise. Oladeshek playing Huns as should be though. Looking at the Huns base here, it doesn't look like it's an easy job to pull wall it without leaving out some resources here, so maybe it's making the right call playing it very heavily offensive here. Will be subject to scouts attack from B-Boy here though and lose the reinforcements. Meanwhile, they had the Magyar scouts at work here. B-Boy struggling to full wall as well. Magyars forging instantly. +1 attack, much easier to snipe villagers. Tries for the quick walls there, but that's not just gonna work. Doesn't look too bright for B-Boy in the pocket here, with the Berbers will be on their own to defend against the Magyar scouts here, and even Spearmen will be able to be taken out for the Queen here, considering that the scouts have that extra attack. Olodeczek says, thank you very much, I'll just take this gold forward from you. Some scouts harassing a bit in Olodeczek's base. He has archers with fletching bow and a spear. We'll be cleaning up the last few scouts of B-Boy who won't have their army to defend at home against them. Yeah, significant number of Magyar scouts here. I mean, honestly, the Queen could just keep flooding scouts here in army because until the enemies are full walled, which the scouts will be denying, they are looking at so much damage potential here. And imagine if Mr. Wone could bring some archers to the field as well to deal with enemy spearmen here. They will just be a never-ending offensive for Russia here on German potatoes. Tuyo has some archers out though. We'll probably try to coordinate with B-Boy to hit Olodeczek. The problem is B-Boy doesn't really have a lot of military at the moment. And sending archers in on their own like this could be punished if you're up against coordinated efforts from Olodeczek and the Queen. The Queen does have quite a few scouts here. Could now send them over to assist Olodeczek in the efforts here, unless Olodeczek says, I'm fine, I'll just go into skirmishers and hold this on my own. In which case, the Queen could stay at B-Boy's side here. But looks like they will work together to take out Tuyo's armies here. I think it's a good call as well, because B-Boy has already had to invest into quite a few spearmen and some walls, meaning that food and wood investment puts the Queen in the eco lead, not having needed to invest into any defensive units at all. Double stables though, but that's because the Castle Age is on the way and the Queen will be bringing the knights out, hopefully. Yeah, easy cleanup here. The scouts of the Queen actually deal with all of Tuyo's archers on their own here. Tuyo with 40 villagers, so didn't lose much villagers here, but is losing the military, and that's never a good spot to be in when you're about to be 2v1'd. Mr. Moan forward with the Vikings archers here as well, looking to hit Phoenix maybe, with Phoenix with crossbows already on the top side here. Now could be looking at some decent damage potential on Mr. Moan here. However, we have the Queen in the castle as well, getting that +2. Could offer some valuable help here to the Vikings player, who is lagging behind their opposing flank in terms of uptimes here. Gold very much is exposed to the crossbow fire from the Ethiopians here, but let's see Phoenix scouting if he actually has seen that gold. Not really. So a bit of unfortunate scouting here for Phoenix, not really knowing the main goal. I mean, had they known, they could have even just gone straight here and gotten some villager picks just like that. Castle Age 92% now for Mr. Moan will be at the very least idling Phoenix's gold here. Quick house is going up for Mr. Moan to try and keep the archers, crossbows from sitting on the tower, but this looks a bit scary, but Phoenix has to focus on the knights, meaning that Mr. Moan should be able to get into the crossbows here in time. Yeah, it's a cleanup. Bangar's fully upgraded knights taking the hit here, losing some numbers obviously. But look at the scouts as well being brought over. Good army usage here with the Queen to run back to their flank and help clean up Phoenix's numbers. 6 military. Whereas Olodeczek is holding his own on this side. They're both on the way to the castle now, but it's going to be Olodeczek getting to the crossbow and maybe even elite skirm first here. Villager count is in favor of German potatoes here, I have to say, but again, Olodeczek's job is just to keep the Vietnamese player as busy as possible, so that they won't be able to go for any coordinated efforts somewhere else. Forces a couple of towers here even. Tuyo going to go into guard tower defense maybe in the castle age here. So the aggression pays off here for the Hans player. However, with all these back resources, Tuyo shouldn't really need to struggle here either. But here comes the 2-1 with the Queen back. Mr. Wone with 28 military against Phoenix's only 12 should be able to hold the top side flank on their own. Defensive Siege Workshop in a decent spot here, but might it be... Yeah, could potentially have been denied there by Oladeshek, but Knights are in the way, so that's not an option. Forward University! And unfortunately for the Vietnamese player Tuyo here, Vietnamese civilization will be losing numbers again. 15 against Oladeshek's 26 military, but the pockets, most notably here, B-Boy lagging severely behind. Has probably gone into multiple stables here now. Actually, only 2 stables for the Berbers. That's what they can afford at the moment. Berbers have the cheaper cavalry, so if you'd gone into 3, even 4 stables here at Berbers, if eco permits, that's what you want to do right upon reaching the castle age when you know you're behind the opposing pocket. You need to rush the upgrades, you need to rush the numbers, and do your very best to try and catch up in numbers, which is not the case, you know, it's 25 to 8 between the pockets. The Queen will chase the Berbers' pocket numbers now, no reason not to. They have better upgrades, they have more numbers. Just keep the Berbers' pocket from getting to the numbers needed to challenge here. We'll break in, we'll get some serious raids in on B-Boy again here, and that could potentially be a GG moment in my opinion. Because if B-Boy is never allowed to get to the numbers needed from pocket, he cannot help either side. And with the archers running here, with Vikings with obvious numbers superiority here, albeit lacking Bodkin arrow and defense, Russia F is in a great spot, nevertheless. Score lead by 700-ish here. Defensive castle now going up for Tuyo, but that's also an investment. 14 villagers building a defensive castle, right? So their eco will be nothing special. 48 villagers now. Oladeshek has actually caught up. Knights have gone into... I was going to say have gone into multiple theses, but he's building one forward. Just full forward madness from Oladeshek here. Siege push won't work anymore though with defensive castle up. Could still push from this side. Phoenix makes the best of it over here, but will be losing numbers yet again, down to 0 military. B-Boy with only 4, getting heavily raided by the Magar's pocket here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the GG very soon here now, given the current situation. Still only 1 town center for B-Boy, whereas the other pocket is on 3 TCs booming and consistently spamming triple stables with cavalry, something that B-Boy is not in a position to do. There's the GG call. There's 2 heavy pressure from Russia F, actually a 1v1v1 here, but coordinating on the pocket now from Oladeshek and Mr. Mon. That's the end of this game. It's going to be a 1-0 for Russia F on their home map. So let's browse through the stats here. The Queen, essentially with a free boom, granted the early aggression allowed that from Russia F. So it's not something that they got just like that. They, not sure if they will even bother to full wall. Not really. So that's a lot of resources saved just by not walling, being on defensive, offensive the whole time as well. Russia F must have known that German potatoes weren't ever able to go over to raid. 85, 32 KD for the Queen here. Pretty awesome pocket play here. Largest army for Mr. Mon as well on the top side flank. So some good efforts on the top side, and Olanchek just being a pain in the ass on the Vietnamese here, keeping the Vietnamese at home for the whole game, essentially, aside from a forward from Tuyo that unfortunately went down. Let's have a look at the up times here as well. B-Boy with a very late fuel late. I'm not sure what the idea was behind that. Must have had a struggled for cheap or food sources in the Dark Age, maybe going for the 23 pop fuel age, or simply hoping to have a stronger economy to support scouts and then go Castle Age, but seems risky to be so far behind the other pocket. Phoenix with massive villager high here, but wasn't really able to use that to their advantage, being doubled up by Mr. Moan and the Queen when their crossbows moved forward.